Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Before I begin today's briefing, I would like to reiterate what Australian Prime Minister Dr. Tony Abbott said this morning. The international cooperation underway in the search for MH370 is nothing short of tremendous. The militaries of Malaysia, Australia, the United States, New Zealand, China, Japan, and Korea are all working hand in glove to find the missing plane. I should also like to point out that Indonesia has given clearance for 94 sorties by aircraft from 9 different countries to fly in their airspace as part of this search. As Prime Minister Abbott said, it is heartening to see so many different countries working together for a humanitarian cause to resolve this extraordinary mystery and to bring closure for the families on those on board. This morning, the Prime Minister spoke with Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott. Prime Minister Abbott gave a full update on the status of the search operations headed out of Perth. Our Prime Minister has decided to travel to Perth on Wednesday for a working visit to Pearce Air Force Base to see the operations firsthand and also to thank the personnel involved in the multinational search effort, including the Malaysian personnel. This afternoon, the Australian High Commissioner to Malaysia briefed me on the creation of a new Joint Agency Coordination Centre, JACC, which will be based out of Pearce Air Force Base in Perth. The JACC will be headed by an Air Marshal retired Angus Houston, the former Chief of the Defence Force Australia. The JACC will coordinate operations between all Australian government agencies and international search teams. As per the information that we have received from the Australian authorities, the area of search today is 254,000 square kilometres. Today, 9 military aircraft and 1 civilian aircraft traveled to the search area. These planes are 2 Malaysian C-130s, 1 Chinese Illusion IL-76, 1 Japanese Coast Guard G5, 1 Australian P-3 Orion, 1 New Zealand P-3 Orion, 1 New Zealand civilian aircraft, 1 American P-8 Poseidon, 1 Japanese P-3 Orion, and 1 Korean P-3 Orion. Today, 11 ships were also deployed to the search area, and there are 8 Chinese ships, the Shui Long, the Kunlun San, the Haikou, the Chao Kan Tui, the Jingap Kang San, the Hai Shin, the Dong Hai Jiu, and the Nan Hai Jiu. 3 Australian ships, the HMAS Success, the HMAS Toowoomba, and a merchant vessel, Barclay Pearl, which is currently transiting in the search area. The Malaysian ship, the KD Likiu, is expected to arrive in the search area on the 3rd of April. The ADV Ocean Shield, fitted with a towed pinger locator and a Bluefin 21 autonomous underwater vehicle, is due to arrive in the search area on the 3rd of April. In terms of sightings of potential objects, on Saturday, 5 objects were retrieved by HMAS Success and the Haisun. However, it was found that none of these objects were related to MH370. On Sunday, an Australian P-3 Orion made visual sighting of 7 potential objects. A Korean P-3 Orion also made visuals of 3 potential objects. The Chinese ship, the Haisun, was tasked on Monday to retrieve these potential objects. In my capacity as Malaysian Defence Minister, I will leave tonight for the United States Pacific Command in Hawaii. I will attend the ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting, which will be held from the 1st to the 3rd of April. The meeting is being convened by the US Defence Secretary, Secretary Chuck Hagel. On behalf of the Malaysian government, I will share with my ASEAN counterparts and the government of the United States the latest developments regarding the search of MH370. I will convey to our ASEAN neighbors and the United States Malaysia's utmost appreciation for their invaluable help in the multinational search effort. I will also use this opportunity to discuss the possibility of deploying more specific military assets in the event that we need to embark on a more complex phase of the operation. I shall be discussing with the United States and our other friends and allies how best we can acquire the assets needed for possible deep sea search and recovery. Today I held a meeting with the Indonesian Special Envoy and the Special Advisor to the Foreign Minister, Ibu Wiwi Setiawati, and in her delegation included His Excellency Mr. Herman Prayitno, the Ambassador of Indonesia to Malaysia. The Special Envoy expressed her heartfelt gratitude to the government of Malaysia and the multinational team conducting the search operation. And the Special Envoy also stated that Indonesia fully understands the complexity and the magnitude of the challenge ahead and reaffirms its unshakable support for Malaysia. Yesterday, a group of families whose loved ones were on board MH370 arrived in Kuala Lumpur from Beijing. The government is due to hold a high-level briefing soon for these families to update them on the latest developments regarding the search for MH370. The briefing will include international experts who were not available during the briefings in Beijing, including experts from China. It will also be broadcasted live to other families in Beijing. The search for MH370 continues to be a large, complex multinational effort involving many countries and international agencies. Much of the research that has been used to track MH370 has been provided to the Malaysian investigators by our international partners. This research is extremely complicated, involving teams of highly specialized experts, many of whom are based in different countries around the world. The briefing will provide an opportunity for the families to hear directly from some of these experts. The experts will be able to explain the research, the data, and the methodology that has informed the search operations. Ladies and gentlemen, we understand that it has been a difficult time for all the families, and we appreciate that many families want to see physical evidence before they will accept that MH370 ended in the South Indian Ocean. We find ourselves in a difficult position, and I repeat, the question that the families principally want answered is the question we simply do not have the answer to, namely where their loved ones are and where is MH370. On Saturday, I met with the Malaysian and Chinese families based in Kuala Lumpur. It was the most difficult meeting I have ever attended. The families are heartbroken. For many, the strain of the past few weeks have been unbearable. But the one message they delivered to me again and again is not to give up hope. And I promised the families that Malaysia, working with our international partners, will not give up hope. We will continue with all our efforts to find MH370. This is a promise that Malaysia intends to keep. We will continue searching, and we will keep investigating, and we will never give up until we find out what happened to MH370. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, the floor is now open for Q&A session. We will start with local media first. Please.
Assalamualaikum Datuk Seri. Saya Syirah daripada TV Al-Hijrah. Datuk Seri, sekali lagi saya ingin bertanya setelah 24 hari, bila agaknya penjelasan mendalam daripada pihak teknikal terutama daripada Boeing dan dijelaskan dalam sidang media ini. Dan soalan kedua saya, apakah kemungkinan yang boleh disimpulkan setakat ini setelah semua objek yang dikesan setakat ini tiada kaitan dengan MH370? Terima kasih.
Soalan kedua tu memang tadi dalam kenyataan saya dah mengesahkan mana yang kita dapat kumpul dan jumpa dan bawa kembali ke pengkalan tidak boleh dikaitkan dengan MH370 setakat ini. Tetapi operasi untuk mengesan visuals dan barangan yang melalui satelit masih berterusan. Berhubung kait dengan kepakaran, saya dah nyatakan setakat awal ini oleh kerana ada keluarga daripada Beijing dan satu briefing taklimat akan diberikan kepada mereka yang kali ini akan melibatkan pakar-pakar tertentu supaya permintaan mereka untuk mendapat maklumat tambahan dapat dipenuhi. Ini saya tak tahu lagi sama ada melibatkan Boeing, tetapi pakar-pakar lain seperti daripada NTSB dan sebagainya sedang dibincangkan dalam masa terdekat ini.
Yes, please. Your question.
Datuk Sri Hema from Capital TV. Seems like all the debris have found not linking to MH370. Is there any time frame for the search on the debris, finding debris, or is there any backup plan if at all none of the debris is linking to MH370? Is there any other procedures or backup plan to any other investigation to be carried out?
I monitor statements coming out of Perth very closely. There is no indication of a timeline as such, and I feel to be fair to the families, and I've indicated that all systems go, and there is no letting up at the moment. And as I announced, our Prime Minister is going to be in Perth on Wednesday. I think it looks as though we're going to continue. What happens later, we have discussed it, but I think to be fair to the families, that is something that I would not want to share with the public at the moment, because our focus is still to find the airplane.
Okay. Fourth, the gentleman, please.
Datuk Sri Shamsan from Esrawani. Datuk, can you explain what has been done by Air France 30 days after the crash of Flight 447, and are we replicating them in our search operation? I'm talking about the battery life, per se. To Mr. AJ, as an employer, what is your stand regarding investigation of your pilots? Shouldn't you stand by or defend your pilots? And this goes by saying anyone is innocent until proven guilty. Thank you, sir.
Let me answer in terms of pilot. Now, as far as we're concerned, it's our role as an organization to fully cooperate with the investigation. Okay, we know our pilots, and we know that they are qualified and they're experienced to fly the aircraft. Right, but like I said, we have to fully cooperate with the investigating authorities. As far as their records are concerned, I think we have announced their background, their records is all there. Okay.
In respect of the French team, I mentioned earlier in previous press conferences that I have met with them, especially Mr. Jean-Paul Traudet, who was the head of the French investigation team, former Director General of BEA, and they have been very, very cooperative. Part of the reasons why we are using the black box pinger locator through PECOM and through the assistance from the US in using the vessels from Australia were inputs given by the French team. What happens after the 30 days expires has also been discussed, and again, I don't think this is the appropriate PC to reveal such information.
Okay. Second row.
Assalamualaikum. Datuk Sri. Ismail from Bernama. I have two questions. First will be for Datuk Sri, and the second will be for Jari. Right. First one. It has been more than a week since Prime Minister Najib announced that the flight path of MH370 has ended in the middle of the Indian Ocean. So, and yet nothing has been found so far, and nothing has been confirmed. So, will this raise the possibility, raise back the possibility of the plane being hijacked and still at large? The second question for Ahmad Johari. What is your opinion or comment on the intention of the Chinese family members to take legal action against Malaysia Airlines when nothing has been confirmed yet? Thank you.
Thank you. The fact that the possibility of a hijack, the IGPSA previously said that there are 4 areas that they are focusing on, including hijacking, and that will continue. As regards to whether the objects will be recovered and whether the announcement by the Prime Minister, as you know, the area of responsibility is with Australia. And as you know, the efforts being taken by the Australian authorities have been very commendable. It's supported by 7 nations just for that quadrant. The Prime Minister, who is going to be traveling to Perth on Wednesday, will be briefed fully on how things are going to be, have been conducted and how it's going. I'll probably be discussing what are the plans ahead.
Okay, as far as the second question about the lawsuit, I suppose, by the Chinese families, Malaysia Airlines obviously has not been notified, and we have to know what those suits are before we respond.
On that side. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Sri. I have 2 questions. One question that...
Excuse me, you're from...
Anu from Singchu Daily here. Yeah, you mentioned just now there will be a specific briefing to the Chinese family, the relative, meaning that how about the relative from different country? Will we conduct another briefing or will it be a joint briefing? And in the meantime, there will be no specific briefing in Beijing. The second question is, the family members called for a press conference yesterday at Subang demanding apologies from the Malaysian government, and your response. Thanks.
Okay, we'll expand on the apology. Part of the reasons for that request is an allegation that the Prime Minister or the government has stated that the plane actually crashed and that there were no survivors. That totally is erroneous, and I have, if I can quote what the Prime Minister actually said, and it goes, and he said on the 24th of March, based on the analysis in MASAT and AAIB have concluded that MH370 flew along the southern corridor, and its last position was in the middle of the Indian Ocean west of Perth. This is a remote location far from any possible landing sites. It is therefore with deep sadness and regret I must inform you that according to the new data, flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean. There were no mention of a crash or survivors, or no survivors. On the briefing.
Yeah, on the briefing, as Datuk Sri Hisham mentioned, the government is setting up a high-level briefing for the NOKs or the Chinese families here. I think it will be done soon, and I think the plan is also to telecast this briefing live to the families in Beijing, so we do not have to repeat it.
Yep.
Okay. At the corner there, please. Thank you.
Saya Hairi daripada Cosmo. Soalan saya mengenai airport bag dan trade. Ada pakar yang mendakwa ketika pesawat itu melakukan airport bag, ia dilakukan dengan sempurna, seolah-olah tidak ada berlaku situasi cemas dalam aircraft. Mungkin ada rumusan yang dibuat oleh pasukan penyiasat mengenai perkara itu.
Saya, kalau ada pun, saya belum terima apa-apa maklumat berhubung kait dengan kenyataan tadi.
Okay, last question from Malaysia. Yes, your question, please.
Datuk Sri Sofia Ahmad daripada Britania. Sebelum ni Datuk Sri kata ada perbincangan dengan pihak China Southern Airlines untuk sama-sama mereka memikul tanggungjawab kerana pesawat tu adalah based on code sharing. Adakah perkembangan terkini daripada perbincangan tu? Adakah mereka telah setuju untuk sama-sama bertanggungjawab?
Kami sudah bincang dengan China Southern. Sebenarnya ini pesawat kami, tu pasal tanggungjawab lebih kepada kami. Mereka hanyalah code share partner saja. Okay. Diorang bersetuju untuk bekerjasama dengan kita untuk menolong the families.
Okay, now we open to international media. Please, in that corner. Yes.
Can you let us know the status of your internal investigations, how far it has gone, including everything, the crew and everyone else? And then secondly, is it possible for you to give us the location and route of the 6 handshakes?
The internal investigation you were referring to is the police investigation. Like I said, the 1 or 2 PCs soon, the IGP should come out with it. I don't have any more information apart from what I have indicated to the media in the last few days. As regards as to the 6 handshakes, we actually distributed a diagram where the handshakes were, did we?
I think the handshakes, I think that's the information that was given by Masad, and that's a very important criteria for the analysis to be done by the investigators now with Boeing, NTSB, AIB. I think that's something that we are unable to issue the statement now. Thank you.
I stand corrected.
Okay. Please. Yes, sir.
Hi, Shimon Prokopets from CNN.
Hi.
How are you, sir? Thank
Hello,
you.
I'm fine, thank you.
I wanted to see if you can clarify some of in the handoff, in some of the language to the air traffic controller. There's been some different variations of what was said, and I wanted to see if there's a way you can maybe put some of that to rest by clarifying exactly what was said. And the second question is, when the plane was flying, you had said that someone had said there was a sharp left turn. Was there a sharp left turn, or was there a loop around? Did the plane at all make a circle? There have been some diagrams that have been floating around that show the plane made a loop and turned. So we're trying to see if you can clarify that.
I think the details of the air traffic controlling the aircraft or give direction to the aircraft, that will be looked very carefully by investigators. I think that is another area that the investigators will look at, and will be part of the investigating criteria, and something that we just cannot reveal to you at the moment. Even
Let's
the
give.
microphone.
Okay.
This microphone is not working there.
You can use mine.
Okay, thank you. The manner of the air traffic control at the time of the aircraft make an air turn back is one of the very important criteria for the investigators to look at. That is something that the investigators will look hard into it. Will see what actually was wrong with the aircraft. What are the problem faced by both the controllers and if there's any. So I cannot reveal to you what is been what the investigators are going to do. That's we leave it to the investigators to investigate.
Can I just give you an assurance, because I announced earlier that the internal panel of inquiry by the Air Force is presently being done. I've also indicated that the Ministry of Transport is convening an international inquiry panel that will consist of all the experts around the world. In Parliament recently, we were debating either to have a royal commission or a parliamentary select committee to discuss this matter. Now, all these inquiries are already in place, and the truth will prevail and will be out there. So,
okay, next.
So basically, if you're asking for questions which is part and parcel of investigations, talking about transcripts, you must be fair to us, because only those who are doing the investigations can give us the okay. Now, if it comes a time when this can be shared with the public with their consent, by all means, I will declare it. But in any event, at the end of the day, I'm answerable to the Royal Commission or the Parliamentary Select Committee, to the International Inquiry Board. So we are not hiding anything. We're just following the procedure that is being set. Well, like I said, let the inquiries show what it shows.
Okay, we move on. Yes, other back, please. The lady has put on the hand, please.
I have two questions. Sorry,
Please.
Stephen Brown, ABC News in New York. I have two questions. One is a follow-up to the question that CNN just asked about the route of the airplane. You mentioned that you cannot discuss this now because the investigation is ongoing. But this information has been put out already in public documents, both in the Google Earth map of the way that the airplane went when the tracks were being determined, and in a briefing to the families in Beijing, slide of which has been made public on Twitter. So the route of the airplane is not only known, it's already been revealed, but not to the press. My first question is, can you explain why you can tell this to the families and you can put it out in the search, but you will not discuss it with us?
I'm not sure
the
what...
second question,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go on with the second question.
Oh, I'd much rather hear the answer to the first.
I'm more interested to hear what your second question is.
Okay. My second question is regarding the release of the interviews with the pilot's wife, Pilot Zakaria's wife and daughter, to the Daily Mail in the UK. Somewhere, apparently, the police have revealed the transcripts of those interviews, including the comportment of both of those women.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if that was sanctioned by the investigation to release those documents, and if not, whether there's an investigation underway as to how the Daily Mail received that investigative information.
One, I can confirm that I don't think it came from the police. And how Daily Mail got that information, you have to ask Daily Mail. As regards to the issue of information that's been revealed outside the press conference and or speculation and diagrams in Google or in anything else in the internet, I cannot confirm or discount. I can only base on what I've informed you in my PCs.
These were released by you.
By me? I don't think. No, I will clarify that. I will not go into a debate about it here. Like I said, we have our PCs every day, and if that is something that has been informed by us, I will clarify. It's no big deal.
But the route of the airplane, you have released it in diagrams.
The family briefings were closed off. Next.
Next, please. Okay, the gentleman behind, please. Black and black uncle. Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm James Chow from CCTV News. I was wanting to ask you, Minister, about the envoy that you spoke to me about an interview, Chino Fan, that you will send her to Beijing, I think, later in the week. You said that you want her to be a liaison for the Chinese families, or the issue around the Chinese families. My question is twofold. The first one being that shouldn't she be here in Kuala Lumpur, given that at least the representatives of the families came over yesterday, not just, I think it was 29, but representatives of them. But secondly, also, surely, I think the government must be very aware of the sensitivities around the families. You saw them on Saturday, the pain that they're in, the very deep pain. Do you think it's going to be enough, though, to have someone who happens to be ethnically Chinese, and will she be able to really move on this and to be able to create a game changer where everyone walks away with some resolution inside them? Thank you.
I asked the Indonesian delegation today about the 7 Indonesian passengers and their families. and whether they faced any problems as regards information that is required. And the answer given to me was no. There are other nationals also on board that plane whose families are also grieving, including Malaysians. And I met up with them, and no, I do not see any major problems. Of course, they wanted me to give an assurance that the SAR continues, and I did. They wanted me to not give up hope, no matter how remote, to look for survivors. I said that's always been in my prayers. And they've indicated to me that no matter what it takes, if we're going on to the next phase, if we do find debris related to the satellite images, we will do whatever it takes to locate the black box and the plane, if need be. Those are rational requests. And I've engaged them, and majority of the families have been very reasonable. As regards to those who may feel otherwise, it's a work in progress. We continue to engage them. And the appointment of Chu Mei Fan earlier, specifically to address the families in China, is really to try and understand with the Chinese authorities how and what needs to be done to assist them in this very difficult time. Nobody is denying that it's difficult. It's difficult for all of us. And it doesn't apply to only Chinese nationals who have lost loved ones. It applies to 13 other countries. But this extra effort that we have put on with regards to the Chinese families is firstly because of the number of passengers involving the Chinese family is bigger than the rest. And secondly, we need to engage and inform a huge population of Chinese that may listen to speculation and make different assumptions about what's been going on. We have been very consistent, and we're moving on to the next phase. And you, James, and CCTV is fully aware how committed I am to engaging them.
Yes, please.
Hi.
That's great. Could you confirm that this may be a repeat. What were the last words spoken by the pilot? I mean, there's new revelation. Some other words came up, and who spoke that? And my second question, sir, is there are reports that the FBI have cleared pilot Lahore of anything based on the finding from the flight simulator. Can you confirm that is clear?
I was told that that statement came out from the FBI themselves. I'm not quite sure about that report, but I can confirm my own personal involvement with the investigations that relate to FBI was from day one. And any indication, yes or no or otherwise, coming from the FBI, you'll have to take it as FBI's face value. On our part, I would like to go through the process of the inquiry. And like I said, we cannot stray from the focus of finding the airplane, because a lot of these answers can be answered if we find the black box. And time is running out as far as signals coming out from the black box, if it is indeed in the Indian Ocean. The first question is an indirect way of asking for the transcript. And like I said again, it is part of the investigation. And you smiled, and I've obviously touched the right point. If it's so important, let me talk to the experts and investigators, and if it can be revealed, it will be revealed. I don't think it's going to show anything sinister.
Okay, last question, Franz. Second row. Yes. Hold on, please.
Melissa.
Could you stand up, please, Melissa? Thank you.
Just two questions. The reason why Indonesia is giving out so many sorties, is it 94? Is it because the search area has been moved up again? Has the search area
No.
moved up?
It's just that to get through to where the search areas are, they have to go through Indonesian airspace. The point that I mentioned about the number of sorties is the cooperation and the coordination that is required is unprecedented. So
Australia is still leading the search, right?
Yes, as you know, we have divided the areas of search into quadrants, and so happened that the lead that we have right now is in the quadrant in which Australia is responsible too. And they've been very cooperative, very committed, and I really would like to take this opportunity to not only thank them, but to request that they continue against a lot of challenges, weather and distance. But I see that every day they have not let any of us down, especially the families.
So lastly, will there be no PC while you're away? Because you're leaving tomorrow, right?
I can have a PC when I'm away. Yeah, the world is so borderless right now. Hi. No, I cannot be.
Okay.
We got to follow SOP.
That was the last question. Thank you very much. The next PC will please look at the notice board that we have in the media center, and it will be stated there when and where.
Thank you.
Any press release will be noted there also. Thank you very much. That concludes the session for today.